Dennis Simpson from the beautiful shores of Lake DeSoto. I keep telling you it's the shores of Lake DeSoto. This time I'm proving you the beach of Lake DeSoto. Here to talk to you today about how Hyperfiber is great, ish, goodly-ish. They're mostly goodly-ish, yeah. And the wind's a little higher today than I thought it would be, but hey, there it is, right? So I want to let you know, I'm a techie, and to recap real quick, we're going to compare Suddenlink. We're going to compare your other options here in Hot Springs Village to Suddenlink, and we're going to talk about how good an option it is. And for most people, it's going to be the option. It's going to be a great option, but there are some caveats. There really are. And let me explain very quickly. As a techie and a podcast producer and a radio show producer, I do a lot of different things, and I need a lot of different IT internet connections that you may not need. If you go to ddvillageprop.com right now, ddvillageprop.com, click on the little 3 bars or go to Live Lakeview Camera, you will see my live Lakeview camera that we have sitting at our house, just up the road a little ways, up the lake a little ways. That said, that probably was one of my bigger-ishly problems-ish-erlies, if you know what I mean. So what actually happened is that I came to the village about 14 years ago, 14 and a half, and at the time I had AT&T Uverse. And AT&T Uverse is a good enough product. It's not a bad product. It's not phenomenal, but it's okay. Well, AT&T Uverse now is actually, number one, no longer offered, but you could only get like 25 megs down and 5 or 6 megs up. Well, at the time, that seemed like a lot and it seemed like plenty. Well, then I went to Suddenlink, or at the time they were Suddenlink at the time. And then I used them quite a while, got a permit, got a static IP from them, pretty good, it worked okay. I actually went back to AT&T Uverse because they gave me a great deal on cable TV. And then from there, I actually went back, now this most recent time, I went to Suddenlink over the last 3 or 4 years. And with Suddenlink, probably 5 years, with Suddenlink, I got an IP, a static IP, which is important for my business. And after I got the static IP, yeah, it kind of got weird. They charged me for IP addresses that don't cost them anything. Thinking that over, yeah. Because as an IT guy, I know what they cost and there's nothing. But Optimum had been good-ish, early, or no, just, yeah, okay-ish early. Because their back-end product is good. The actual internet cable is good. The up speed to push something up to the internet, very, very, very poor. At this moment, I've still got both of the internet services at my house. One of them is completely Suddenlink all the way down, and then I get 50 way back up. But that coming down is 1,000 megs a second. It's really fast. It's really stable. Until I have to call tech support. And I'm not making this up. And an Algerian answers the phone. I am not making this up. I also have a little telephone company. And the phone tree for Suddenlink is just unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. The number of times you will watch with me and you will say, I pressed 3 to speak to a human and I got the call dropped. That happens so often on Suddenlink and Optimum, it's just not even funny. Then Altice bought them out, which is a French company, which I think is French for screw you. I don't know. I'm not an internet telephony guy, but that's what it seemed to be to me. But after they bought out, they're really working hard. Seriously, they're working hard to make things better. I understand. I hope it works out for them and you and us and them, right? But in the meanwhile, Hyperfiber has come in. Now, I'm sitting at the DeSoto beach for a particular reason. If you look that way, just down to the bottom of the hill, there's a little walking trail, which is gorgeous, goes down behind the falls. I'll get some video of that in a minute. If the wind doesn't blow me a stinking way, yeah. But if you walk down that hill, you'll be at what we call Deborah's restaurant. It's a little center, Carmona Center, is that it at the bottom? And the Carmona Center is a nice place. And there's these 4 big boxes I got to describe with both hands here. Big, beige, round, big boxes. And those are what are called the NAPs. That's the network access point for the fiber. And they began at that point, going that way on Cortez and up toward Cortez and back this way toward DeSoto. And then they started going all directions from there. And it was a matter of days until they were over at Cortez and the POA put a stop work order on them because they were literally tearing the roads up. They would make diagonals in unreasonable places. It just didn't make any sense. And you would say, okay, well, of all places, why are you cutting across the street right here? Because some people call them curb cutters. They don't dig a big, deep trench that's several feet deep. They just dig a little bitty trench, just a few inches deep, and they run it all the way down the side of the road, which doesn't actually infringe on the right-of-way. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So you say, well, that's pretty good, Dennis. What was the service like when you got it? Well, number one, they probably were on my little street that might have, well, if you combine Sierra and Castellan, it might have 60 to 80 homes, maybe. But boy, they were here 2 or 3 months. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And they're cutting and they're trenching and they're filling. And for the most part, they filled the trenches back in pretty good. A couple of places where they made a major cut, horizontal or perpendicular to the road, it's better than the original pavement. It looks great. That's again, they're still trying to patch it up. Probably about 5-6 weeks ago, I saw one of the guys out back and he was actually patching them in. So I knew what he was doing, that he was tying us back to the main one on DeSoto, okay? And I thought, okay, we're gonna be live. Well, days later, literally, for crying out loud, why does the wind wait till I start recording to, yeah, there we go, die down. Anyway, but one of the main guys was actually tying us in. So I knew that we were gonna be really good really soon. Sure enough, one of the nicest guys ever shows up at the house. Now, ironically, I've already signed up. He's already got all my info. He knows he's already got all my info, but he collects all my info again. To we villagers, that's a little dubious, right? Right? Okay. So we're not to the really ishly part, because I'm probably going to keep Hyperfiber. It's really a good product overall. It is completely fiber, but to be frank about it, the back end from the cable back up to the cloud is fiber with the fine folks at Optimum. It's not that bad. It's that I can't just send files up. When I go to send the file I'm recording you right now, the show I'm doing you right now, 12 to 15 minutes. It will be 8 to 10 gigs. That's big. That's really, really, really big. For a guy who's used to working on radio, that's really, really big. And in my old system, with my old Suddenlink connection, my old Optimum connection, that's going to be between 45 minutes and an hour, literally, to upload a file. When I upload this with Hyperfiber, it's going to be between 6 and 8 minutes, and I've seen it be as little as 4. But remember, people, I've only done this 35 years. I'm beginning, wink. But for what I've seen so far, the bottom line is there's 2 ends of each wire. You say, what do you mean, Dennis? Well, I know that I'm getting a gig down and I'm sending a gig out, but I didn't tell you where I was sending that gig to, did I? Well, if I'm sending that gig to YouTube and they're busy, maybe it's going to take them a little longer. You say, well, YouTube, Dennis, yeah, they get busy. You say, well, Dennis, you're putting it on OneDrive, which is what I use a lot. I mean, a lot. They vary in speed also. So there's a lot of different variables that you need to include on this. One of the bigger ones for me, remember I mentioned the camera a few minutes ago, the live lake view camera, which is beautiful and they do a great job. One of the conditions I needed a static IP, and that means every time you plug in your internet connection, you get an IP address. I need mine to not move around because mine is literally tied to other DNSs, other names, other computer services, DD Village Prop and all this. I have services that expect my IP to be the same one every time. That's how businesses work, right? So I'm thinking this shouldn't be a big deal. I call and say, okay, I need to get in my modem. Distinction number 42.71. I called, Hyperfiber answered. There was a human that spoke English, not Algerian English, but real English, not French English, but real English. And they helped me immediately. It was great. What a concept, right? No press 1 for English, nothing. Got right in. I then said, how do I get to my modem? They told me how to get to my modem. I get to my modem, and I said, okay, well, what I need to do is I need to open a DMZ, a demilitarized zone, is what they call it. Gamers know all about this. But I need a port that I can get into so that every time something comes into my modem, it goes directly over here to this camera. Just this one time, right? Sure, okay. I go into my settings and I have to turn on port triggering. I do this all the time. I do this for my video security company. This is very common. And I make the settings and I hit OK, and nothing happened. And I check it and I test it and I run what we call NCAP, which is a tool that checks all those. Nope, no ticky, no laundry, no good. Well, this is odd. I call back. I explain my situation. And by the way, the static is free again. Thanks. It's $10 a month with Optimum, but it's a pain in the butt charge, right? Which is what's killing us with Optimum across the board. You may have a decent service and you may have a decent speed and you may have a decent connection, but it seems like that bill goes up a little bit more every month, doesn't it, people? Yeah, I got you. Anyway, I call in, I think it was even on a Saturday. Yeah, it was. And they said words that I thought were unique. You want to put a hole in your modem, you want to poke a hole in the firewall, change the DMZ, blah, 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 blah. We'll have a guy there Monday. What? Yeah. We'll have a guy there Monday. You can't do that. I can't make a change on my own DMZ? No. It says right here in the modem I can do that. Now with Suddenlink, by the way, and Optimum, you can because they lease you the modem and they can get in and do the same thing if you get stuck. Hint, hint. I wait till Monday. Really nice guy shows up who used to work for Resort Cable in Hot Springs. Really nice guy. Like him. He says, yeah, all that port forwarding thing, yeah, that's done by a company out of South Africa. We can't do any of that. Excuse me? Yeah. See, that port forwarding, we got to get permission from a company in South Africa that monitors all these modems, but we can't do that. Okay. Number one, Hyperfiber is dramatically cheaper. For me and what I do, it is 20 times faster because it's fiber, because it can upload. It's amazing. I mean, I love the service. It's great. Been a lag here or there, but there's 2 ends to each wire. It could be happening on the other end. It could be a lot of things, right? Then the plot thickens, as if you hadn't wanted to hear this one. I have 4 Airbnbs on the lake here in Hot Springs Village on Lake DeSoto. And we have cable with all of them, and Optimum has been okay. During the pandemic, having a fast internet speed for traveling nurses, for traveling executives, for families with an executive, for having VPNs that could really sustain. You say, Dennis, what's a VPN? 30 seconds of recap. It's a virtual private network where we can shield your public address and your public look, your public access, and we can shield that and make it look like it's somewhere else, but we can make it protected. And then we make a tunnel between you and your provider, you and your workplace, you and the hospital you're working with or whatever. But the problem is the cost of a VPN, $10 a month or something like that, because there's another service that manages that for you. But the real cost is that 400 meg services now becomes 200 megs. You say, but Dennis, I've got 400 down. Yeah, but that's when you're downloading something. Okay, well, so when you're uploading, you only had 20 megs to begin with. The 400 with Optimum, 400 by 2 is by 20. So when you cut that 400 to 200, guess what? You cut the 20 to 10. Now you're at DSL speeds trying to push stuff back up the pipe. It gets very important very quick. And with our Airbnbs, I want to make sure they have a great service. I'm actually on a chat the other day, and now remember, I've got 4 of them. And I'm on a chat, and I said, okay, well, I need to finish this bill. I had to change a credit card, blah, 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 blah. And the lady said, would you like a new modem and 1 gig service at the same price that you're paying now? Well, duh, right? I say, sure, I would love that. That is awesome. Hook me up. Sign me up, Buttercup. And I don't know, Buttercup doesn't translate to Algerian, I guess. Who knew? I don't know. I'm just a guy. Anyway, but so we finally got through the Dennis translation part, which patient watchers have probably learned to endure quite well too. And they said, okay, we're going to send out a new modem. We're going to send you a label to ship back the other one because we closed down your facility beside Village Hibachi and we papered up all the walls so nobody would know we're even there anymore. And you people that know, you know. And I said, okay, well, great, I can send it in. And I said, well, so this is really awesome. I said, can I do this on any of my other ones? And they said, well, there's a special offer on this one, but the price doesn't go up. You get the increased speed, it stays at the same rate, but the price doesn't go up. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. I log out of that account, log into another account that I have to fix the credit card on. And when I log in, they said, no, that's not available on this account. I think the words, your results may vary, is the understatement of the hour. And I say that with Optimum and their Algerian tech support. You say, well, Dennis, why do you keep saying Algerian? Because you see it's a French company, yeah, in the European, yeah, up there, yeah. Just south of that is Morocco and Algeria, and they have Algerian support that speaks good-or-ishly, sometimes occasionally English, and they do it slowly so we Southern people sometimes understand. Who knew, right? You knew, I knew. But in that said, I give Hyperfiber a resoundingly good-ish-ly vote. Yeah, mostly. I mean, seriously. It's better than most alternatives. They too say that they're going to do the better part of the village. Connect 2 said they were going to do it, but Connect 2 got in the ditches and literally started digging up big rocks. These Hyperfiber people, they just go 4 to 6 inches deep, and I'll show some pictures of what the fiber actually looks like. It's a couple of small strands about the size of a pencil lead, and then it comes into a box that does your Wi-Fi. And for what it's worth, and same thing for Optimum, those new Wi-Fi boxes are Wi-Fi 6, not 6G, but Wi-Fi 6, and they are very fast. I figured that I knew the technological corner I had worked myself into, and I thought, well, I may have to run both services for a while. Yeah, I'm probably about to turn off Optimum real soon. But I will make note to those of you that are waiting for Hyperfiber to get to your door. I'll tell you about that if I got another 30 seconds of tape real quick. But those of you that are waiting for it to get to your door, don't panic, wait, but call Optimum and haggle. You got to haggle. You got to haggle, or else they won't come forth. They really won't. I mean, you really do have to haggle. All that to say, I'm the president of the Townhomeowners Association, 944 townhomes in the whole Hot Springs Village area. And the very bottom line is that they came down to my house, they went down to my other unit on Castellon, they went to the Castellon subdivision, which is a townhouse court, jumped over all 92 units, or 52 units, and went from there directly over to DeSoto, where they said they weren't going to service townhouse courts, except they started at DeSoto townhouse courts. They're learning, people, they're learning. Dennis Simpson from the beautiful beach and shoreline of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, and DeSoto. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Hot Springs Village Venues is brought to you by KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. Beehive Hangout. Hot Springs Village Beehive Hangout has been an institution since the day it opened, serving great fresh food, wonderful music, games, trivia, and a cold glass of something to drink anytime. Come by and experience the relaxed atmosphere and great food at the Beehive Hangout today at 220 Minorca in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, or call 501-777-8176. You can also set up reservations at beehivehsv.com to reserve your table. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 92.9. And brought to you by the Hot Springs Village Voice, Hot Springs Village only newspaper, also serving all of Saline and Garland County. Your local newspaper for local events. No one else has more local news than the Hot Springs Village Voice about the Hot Springs Village area. Sign up today at hsvvoice.com or call 501-623-6397. Again, that's 501-623-6397. Located at 3576 North Highway 7 in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just in front of Walmart. Brought to you by Gotta Go Vacations. www.gottagovacations.com. Troy Woods and Patrick Cunningham at 501-204-4805 can help you with any of your travel needs. Patrick and Troy have been airline stewards for decades, and their experience and their travel can serve you well. GottaGoVacations.com, again, that's GottaGoVacations.com, can help you book the perfect tour for you, whether it's a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi or the Rhine. These guys are who you need to call. 501-204-4805. Troy or Patrick, 501-204-4805. GottaGoVacations.com. D&D Village Properties. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit DD Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.